Islam. And matter of fact, that was that Sunday. And the next day, I went and got some paper from Brother Clarence, who was the captain there. And I told him I wanted to get some paper. I got 25 paper. And I came in the West Bank because I felt like I was in the organization trying to help change the people. And me and Brother James say, well, what they're doing is something like what we're doing, but they got a better program than us. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, I said, let's just join with them. So with that, I joined the Nation of Islam. I wrote my letter. I wrote a perfect letter. Because you had to write a perfect letter. Even if you didn't know how to write, you had to learn how to write the letter. All right? Go to Chicago. So my letter came back fast. Some people say, like I had a special letter. We sent mine back quick. So I started selling papers, and I started having, this was, I guess, after my letter came, the meetings like, I think on, what they were, Mondays and Wednesdays, I think Mondays and Wednesdays, I think the meetings were. So I would go to meetings on the West Bank. I'd bring people from the West Bank to the meeting and stuff. So a lot of brothers from the West Bank started joining Nation of Islam. And so that happened. I eventually became a squad leader, lieutenant. All this happened within 6 months. I became assistant minister over there at Mosque number 46. I became assistant minister. Eventually, we moved from Magnolia Street, and they opened a masjid in the lower Ninth Ward on Catherine Avenue. I became the minister over there on Catherine Avenue. Then they also had a school. They eventually put a school over there. I think that's the first time I ever saw you. They had a school over there, and so it was expanded. I would say at that time when I was there, well, there was a saying that they would ask how many people belongs to the masjid. There was a saying they say, like Elijah Muhammad said, if they ask you that, he would say, those who know don't say, and those who say don't know how many people belong to the masjid or in the nation. Okay, so I became the minister there, I guess, probably 1971, 72, something like that. Then what happened in Monroe, Louisiana, they needed a minister. They needed a minister in Monroe, Louisiana. So they took me from there and they shipped me to Monroe, Louisiana, which is about 200, maybe 50 miles from me. So I became the minister in Monroe, Louisiana. I stayed there for maybe 3 years. After I came back, 1965, that's when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and may Allah forgive him for his shortcoming and bless him with paradise. That's when I came back after he passed. I came back.
He passed in 75.
75, yeah, 1975, and we went to Chicago. All the ministers. We didn't know he had passed. They told us when we got there that he had passed. Man, the truth is, they tell us that he would never die. So after the passing of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his son, Warith D. Muhammad, as called Wallace D. Muhammad, he took over what was the Nation of Islam and transformed it from, I would say, the movement that we call the white man the devil, and it brought us to the Quran. And that was in 1975, the beginning process of him turning what was Nation of Islam to what we call Sunni Islam. And we all came in, eventually changed our name to Nasheed Salahuddin, the family name to Nasheed Salahuddin. And after that, we began to learn more of the history. If you want me to talk to someone about the old Nation of Islam, what I knew about
Absolutely.
So when I came in, people would tell me, I would ask questions, how did this masjid started? And that was in 69. It had been, Mosque number 46 was on Magnolia Street. And I guess it might have been there maybe 10 years before I came. I'm just guessing. But I was told that a brother named Emery, who later changed his name to Omar, he came from Chicago. He was a musician, a trumpet player. I was told that he, the one that first brought the message of the Nation of Islam to New Orleans. And another brother was in Baton Rouge. What's the brother who died? Was the Imam in Baton Rouge?
Oh, the piano player. Yeah. Hassan?
No, not Hassan.
No. What was his name?
Him and Sharif was tight. He was a fair complexion brother.
He was he was over the big man. I remember. I can't remember his name.
I forgot his name.
Good brother.
His name was company, but
Yeah.
he also came and was instrumental in bringing the papers down here. And I think they started meeting in somebody's house at first, and then they got several buildings. I mean, they have told me about the building, but I done forgot now where the buildings was. You know, and they eventually wind up on 4th and Magnolia. Eventually, from different storefronts and stuff, they wind up in Fort Magnolia. And then again, as I was telling you, we used to go to Chicago. We used to go to they had an annual Nation of Islam called Savior's Day meeting, and it was related to, I think that's when Farad Muhammad, Master Farad Muhammad, who was the teacher of the Elijah Muhammad, that was his. It was Savior Day in reference to his birthday. Okay, we used to do that in February. I forgot the date. I mean, I might remember the date. And you know, when he came, I think was a silk trader, and he eventually, from my understanding, he came and offered the religion to the white man, and he wouldn't accept it. So he decided to bring it to the black man, and he started studying. He started studying Daddy Grace, and he started studying
Booker T. Washington.
Booker T. Washington. He started studying the great blacks in America. Okay, so he's studying them so that he can be able to relate better to the black man. So he started studying the great historians who had impact and influence on blacks in America. And I'm trying to think about Father Divine. Well, a preacher was named Father Divine, had a lot of influence in black communities. He started studying Father Divine, the method, the system, the process he used to attract so many people. So that's what he was doing, learning methods to attract black people. And he was teaching, I was somewhere up north, and eventually Clara, a friend of Clara Muhammad, who was the wife of the Imam Elijah Muhammad, one of her friends invited her to somebody's house. And she liked it, and she told it to her husband, Imam Elijah Muhammad. Said that, you know, it was during the Depression, 1930, 31, and etc. Said Imam Elijah Muhammad, he used to drink. A lot of people didn't have no job, no work, and they became alcoholic because they couldn't find work, they couldn't support their family, so they started, you know, whatever they can do to suppress the responsibility. And so what happened, she said she used to carry him on her back when he was drunk, throw him in the bed. So she invited him to one of the meetings, and he came to one of the meetings, and he liked what he heard, and he eventually became one of the students of Farad Muhammad. They called him Master Farad Muhammad. They called him W.D. Farad Muhammad. And it was said that Wallace Muhammad, that he gave Wallace Muhammad that W.D., that's where that came from, W.D. Farad. And it was said that Wallace Muhammad brothers, and it was told to write on the back of the door, W.D. Muhammad, all right? And Imam Muhammad, it said he had given him his name even before he was born. Eventually, they said they couldn't say Muhammad, they used to say Mahmud, which was in reference to Muhammad, W.D. Mahmud. So they say that he would be one of the, I hate to say chosen one, but would be a great helper to his father. And eventually, when his father died, he became the leader. The community accepted him as the leader. And I remember myself, we used to go to meetings all around the country when Imam W. Muhammad was teaching, because I was in Monroe then, and we would drive to different places to hear him speak, and that's he became the leader.